Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video. In today's video, we're taking a look at the new anniversary exclusive ZORO, the verse unit against Lucci in some PvP Pirates Rumble. And I gotta say, man, like, we read this guy's kit initially and we were very underwhelmed, and in regular play, I'm very underwhelmed as well when you take him into PvP. He's just not doing what he needs to do, and there's a big caveat to that. The big issue is the fact that he only buffs int and slasher characters, and then he wants 5 straw hat characters to be on the team. And like, realistically, you only have like one other good straw hat that is int or slasher that isn't Zoro, and that's the 6+ waifus. Like, you could throw arguments at me that the 10th anniversary Luffy's still really good, but like nowadays he's fallen off quite drastically. Then you need to find a way to bring like 2 other Straw Hat characters, and all you've got really is PvP Zoro. You got a bunch of free-to-play in characters from like PK, like Sanji Frankie, the Jinbei. You have some Kazuna rare recruits like the Jinbei you can use. You have the PvP Chopper, which is okay, PvP Usopp, which is for shooters. So like, there's not a lot of int slashes that are working with this particular guy. However, if you do get the 5 Straw Hats on the team, which is what we're doing in today's video, we're getting a shit ton of buffs. Like, the buffs we're getting for int and slashes is so damn crazy. He gets attack up level 6, recovery up, and speed up level 6. If you have the 5 Straw Hats, so 2, you get guard up level 5, 3, you get an HP up level 5, 4, you get defense up level 3, and if you have 5, you get a CT up level 3. So Zoro is giving a lot of buffs, like a shit ton of buffs to the team, and it helps out quite a great deal. However, then you have a look at his special, and his special is pretty lackluster. He wants to do 5 times attack in small range, which is pretty bad. He gives himself a defensive buff, he gives himself a heal, and gives himself a shield. The idea of this is so that way he can stay alive to get his super special off. However, in practicality, it just doesn't work. When you have less than 77 seconds, he does more damage, and when there's less than 50 seconds, he gives himself a massive attack up buff. And the idea, again, is when you're below the 50-second mark, you can use this super special. But the problem is, the enemy needs to use 7 rumble specials. 7! That's so many rumble specials. You're never seeing this rumble special. We don't see it once in today's video, which is just absolutely crazy. However, I do have an idea for another particular team. I do have him at level 150. I did pull another copy of Lucci and Zoro, and then I used the poster. So we do have this monstrous super special. But unlike Lucci, it's so hard to get this. It's so ridiculously hard. But today, the focus is shooters. The in-team is just so good at taking down shooters. It's not foolproof, and we're not versing like the pinnacle of teams, but at the end of the day, there's so many different variations of shooters running around. I figured this would be a great place to showcase this guy. However, like I said, I do have a free spirit comp, so if you guys show enough love on this video, we might do some fun stuff there if we get some time after tomorrow. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But today, let's take on some shooters, see how he rocks, see how he rolls, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, so we're going to start off with a bit of an S-Bear build. There's Buggy in the lineup, so they're getting a lot of cooldown reduction. Uta on the bench is a bit of an interesting one, but at the same time, like, Shooters have a lot going for them. They have a lot of cooldown reduction, they do a lot of damage, and they move very, very quickly. One staple you guys will see on every single team today is Lulu. If you don't have Lulu, like, there's no point in running shooters, in my opinion. But the thing with shooters is they go very, very quickly. And with this, like, Lulu has a tendency to literally hit Roger Religaban and Yamato every single time he uses his special. And with this, basically what happens is that you just get the death shots of Yamato and Roger Religaban to proc very, very quickly. And because Zoro is giving so many buffs and such a big attack multiplier, he's giving great cooldown reduction, he's giving good HP and all that sort of stuff. He's keeping the other characters alive, and he's basically allowing Yamato and mainly Roger Religaban to hit ridiculously hard. So we had Espe go there. Espe went very, very quickly, but Kuma basically is going to come in and clean up the scraps of Lulu, which means now we get the death shots off. So big damage from Roger Religaban. Thing about shooters is that whilst they have a lot of damage output, they are pretty susceptible to damage through defense, as they don't have a lot of HP. So a 150 Lulu can basically withstand a lot, but at the same time, like, if you get that death shot off of Yamato to hit Lulu, then you're pretty much good to go. The problem is when you start, like, you get the death shot off on something like a Mars, and then Lulu's already gone, and then you just have like a back-to-back Lulu special, which will just basically kill you. But like, the chances of that happening are pretty low. In like the 10 fights I was doing for this video, it only happened once. So yeah, but at the same time, like, I only fought a couple of Mars fights because it's hard to find these big teams in regular Rumble. However, as I mentioned, there's just so many different variations of shooter running around. Stuff with Buggy, stuff with Suru, stuff with Lulu, all of that stuff, so that you can just sort of find your way through most shooter teams with this particular Int lineup. Now, Int's always been pretty good at taking down shooters purely because of the death shots of Yamato and Rodrelli Caban. But again, now with ZORO, you just give a lot of extra attack, like just so much extra attack. Plus, he can clean up basically what they leave behind. The combination of him and S-Hawk, the fact that he slashes, S-Hawk's a slasher as well, just allows you to sort of come in and just clean the scraps up when you can. Zoro's on a 30-second cooldown as well, and when you're going up against most teams nowadays, like the better teams, like you got strength, you've got shooters, and you've got the quick powerhouse driven team, they're doing so many nerfs that Zoro can just can't get off the ground. Like he just. They need to rework his super special so damn bad that it's not even funny. Because like if you compare him to something like say Lulu or Boa, where they just take 2 specials and they're good to go, that can still be a problem because they're still eating the specials. But Zoro has to, like the enemy has to use 7 specials, and sure, they don't have to hit Zoro. Like, I'm really trying to protect him here by putting him on the wing. But at the same time, if he gets hit with like 3 of them, there's a really good chance that he's put himself in a position where he's going to die. However, his special does try to keep him alive with a shield, some healing, some defensive buffs. But as you guys can see here, like, you just don't see his special. Like, the super special is already a problem, but the fact you don't even see his special, like, it's just... It's such a wonky design, and it's so strange why they thought that would be a good idea to make it 7 specials and give him a 30-second cooldown, making it just like ridiculously hard to just get Zoro rolling. So like if you compare him to Lucci, for example, like Lucci's just like after 30 seconds or 20 seconds, whatever it is, you've got the super special, you're just ready to go. I don't know how they did that with Lucci, but then they thought with Zoro, okay, no, we'll make this guy like impossible to get, and we'll make this guy like the easiest to get. It just doesn't, I don't know, something just doesn't compute in my brain when it comes to that. But like I said, in the future, if we get more Int Straw Hat characters, you bet your ass, we're always going to get Straw Hat characters, like always. And all they have to be is either Slasher or Int. And with that, we can do some fun stuff. Like, if for whatever reason we get, say, I don't know, a new like Int Usopp, like, or a PvP like Straw Hat that's Int or Slasher for like Brook or whatever, like we're gonna be in for a good time. Like that's where things will start to pick up off the ground for Zoro, because like at this rate, like he needs cooldown reduction, which he's giving himself with the 5 Straw Hats, and obviously with the Rodrelli Caban. But he also needs like protection. The bench is incredibly weak. Like with the fact we're using like PP Brook is okay because he comes in and he can help Zoro with the whole Int Slasher combination. Chopper, I decided to use him just because he is a PP rare recruit. He can heal, so if he comes in and he gets his special up, he can give back like a crazy amount of cooldown to Zoro too. The problem with these characters coming off the bench is they're usually coming in for Yamato and Rodrelli Caban that have just used a death special, so they're just not going to see that. They're just not going to see their specials to it for a very long time. The waifus can sort of like stall the game, but like if Zoro does get a special off like this, he's usually going to clean up the scraps that Rodrelli Caban and Yamato left behind. So overall, if I'm versing shooters, like this is going to be one of my go-to teams. Because like I said, I see different versions of shooter literally everywhere. But at the same time, like just because he's good against one of the better teams in the game, in terms of like the better comps in the game, doesn't make him a good unit. I think this unit is just like, they missed the mark on so many levels. Like his passive is great, don't get me wrong. But finding a way to get the 5 Straw Hats on the team is just, it's so strange. And the wonkiness of his super special in combination with his regular special, it just doesn't synergize that well. And because of that, it just leaves this character in a very strange hole of like, when are you ever going to use him? As I mentioned, I do have like a free spirit kind of build with like the waifus, Strength Luffy. We're using like the other Rodrelli Caban and some fun stuff there. That team was doing really, really well over in the challenge fights, but like at the end of the day, like the challenge fights are great. It couldn't take down the new one against Sanjuan Wolf, just because like that fight just mows through like slashes and stuff like that. But at the same time, like those challenge fights, they're not really cutting it up against these bigger teams of like shooters and strength and quick powerhouse and stuff like that. If you guys want to see some more fights where we fight some easier stuff and some other stuff floating around the meta, like this team couldn't really even like tango with the with the Elders team. If you can't beat the Elders team, like you're not really pushing like the ranks of a great team in Rumble. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to undersell the Elders team or anything like that, but like if you're in a position where you can't beat that team, you're really not in a position to say that like, okay, well this team is actually a formidable, runnable team within the meta. So unfortunately, like Zoro just getting the short end of the stick as he always does. Lucci definitely got the higher end, but let me know what you guys think of Zoro in the comment section below. And if you guys want to see that free spirit team, if you want to see more showcases and PvP, let me know down below as well. Belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, do all that sort of stuff. It helps me out a great deal. But most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Let's